The Maui Zan Show on KAKU 88.5 FM, Kahului, Maui, the voice of Maui.
You're listening to Herbert R. Clark's Bride of the Waves from 1915, and you're on the Soundbeat. Clark is generally considered one of the greatest cornetists of all time. His first cornet was a government-issued one. He was given it while a member of the Queen's Own Rifle Band, part of the Canadian Armed Forces. He was good enough for Sousa's band, so much so that John Philip didn't want to let him go. You see, Clark had informed Sousa several times that he'd planned to retire at the age of 50. He considered it an age when cornetists generally lost their ability. Sousa tried to dissuade him, saying he thought Clark's playing to be better than ever. "Then I'll quit while I'm ahead," he replied. And sure enough, he did. So, Wynton Marsalis is generally known for his trumpet playing. If you've never heard him on cornet, or even if you have, go to soundbeat.org right now to see him with the Boston Pops. Just wow. Soundbeat is produced at the Belfer Audio Archive, Syracuse University Library. I'm Brett Barry.
What up, Maui? This is Suzanne Kayian, and you are listening to the Maui Zan Show at KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. You can tell I'm really paying attention to what I'm doing today. Today we have a great show. I'm really excited. We have in the studio with us Micah Nelson, and Micah brought with him his friend Alex. How are you guys? Let's get a sound check. Let me go ahead and turn the music down. And this is Micah's mic. Let's give you. Okay, let's see.
Hello.
Oh, you're there. How are you?
I'm here.
And then Alex said she was not going to talk, but I might. You have a mic and you have headphones, so
true.
You can just say hello.
Hey.
Yay! How are you? So those of you now, we have feedback going on. Maybe my headphones are too loud. Are your headphones okay? Both of you?
Yeah, they seem okay.
Okay, great. So welcome to the show. Those of you who have never met Micah before, I usually don't do notes anymore. Mm-hmm. I did 4 pages of notes for this interview today. Oh, wow. And you'll notice I have no notes in front of me at all, right? So I was going to print them out and come just in case, I didn't want to miss anything important I wanted to talk to you about. But I have no notes. So I'm flying. I'm just winging it. So, Micah Nelson.
I'll make up my answers too.
Okay, cool. We'll just, yeah. We don't have to even be based in reality as far as I'm concerned. So, but an artist, a fine artist, a musician, an environmentalist, an activist, a creator, filmmaker. I had a list when it comes to like introducing you. It's just not like you can't just say Micah Nelson, musician, because you're much more than that. What did I miss?
Mario Kart expert.
Oh, are you?
Mario Kart 64.
Which system?
Nintendo 64.
That's the Nintendo 64, the classic.
Yeah, the classics.
The classics. Yes. Very cool. I did not know that about you.
Yeah, I don't like to boast or anything, but when it comes to Mario Kart 64, I really do like to boast.
You're the king, huh?
Yeah. Pretty unbeatable at this point.
That's so funny. I have a nephew who's just a little bit older than you, and I'm not certain how old you are, but I can kind of guess from when I met you, you were still a teenager, and it's been about 10 years, so I'm guessing you're still in your mid-20s? Like 27? 27? Yeah. Are you 27? Okay, wow, I guessed it. So anyway, I have a 34-year-old nephew, and Oh, I was just going to say what I bought him for Christmas, and I'm on Facebook Live, and I'm sure he's not sitting there watching. But if he is, it may say Nintendo somewhere in the title. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So in addition to the Mario madness that you're such a pro at,
if there's anyone on Maui who would like to challenge me, I'm open.
We
to
should
that.
have a part. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
we should do a fundraiser, a tournament.
Mario Kart 64 tournament fundraiser.
If there's anybody out there who thinks they can beat you, yeah.
I'm so game. I'm so down.
Are you down for
yes.
it? And how many times a year do you come to town? Like 5, 6?
I wish. These days,
it's like 2 or 3?
Like, yeah, if I'm lucky, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Christmas. We're lucky to have you
for
here.
Sure, and solstice, and it used to be New Year, but we've been doing this gig in Austin on New Year's at the ACL Theater, which we're doing this year. But my mom's birthday, in August.
You guys try to come.
Usually come.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this is you grew up in 2 different places, right? You consider Maui or Austin home? I mean, on your Facebook page, it says Austin.
I consider, not to sound cheesy or anything, but the people that I love, that's home, wherever we are.
Wherever you are.
Because I grew up on the road a lot of the time. I was born in Austin and went to school there till I was about 8, and then started going to school here on Maui. So I was here more, but would be touring, playing in bands and stuff in the summertime, or in my dad's band. And in high school, I did an online accredited high school program, which was great because it was like a homeschool, but it was online, so I could travel and be on tour. And wherever there was a cafe or internet, I could get my schoolwork done. And so I kind of grew up all over the place. Earth is home.
Earth is your home.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed when you played in Paia on Friday night, and you mentioned my hometown. Us in Maui, we feel like, because we've got Alex might not know, but when I first met Micah, I had just moved to Maui, and my daughter went to Montessori School of Maui up on Baldwin. And I was really good friends we have a mutual friend, her name's Gail Swanson, and she said, Micah and Lucas went to school there. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, that's not the sole reason I put my kids there, but
it's a great school.
It's a really great school.
Yeah.
And the school asked me the first, 2 or 3 weeks I was there for my parent participation hours. They said, since you have a background in the concert industry, I wrote for years for a concert trade publication. They said, we'd like you to work really closely with Annie Nelson on the Montessori Music Festival. Would you like to do that for your parent participation hours? And I mean, most people know you. I mean, you said your dad's band. I mean, your dad's Willie Nelson. Some people might not know who I'm talking about. But when somebody asked you, do you want to work with Annie Nelson and do this event? I was like, yeah. So, you guys were on your bands were on all those bills.
Mm-hmm.
You did the artwork, you did the t-shirts for those events, you did the posters and all that. So, that's where I was. So we feel like,
Yeah, I mean, Maui and like
Homeboys.
Paia definitely feels like a hometown to me. I had many formative years.
Well, welcome back. So you didn't go to Seabury Hall?
I did not. My brother went for a couple of years, and I had the option. I took the test, and everything.
To get in
and
the
I got
interview
in,
and
I was like,
everything.
okay, I guess I'm going to go to Seabury. And then I had the option to try this homeschool online thing instead. And I was, nothing against Seabury, great school, but I would see my brother stressed out all the time, way too much homework.
Right. And
having to get up at 6 in the morning, and they're expecting him to learn anything or process anything. At that age, I wasn't even a functioning person. I had not even buffered completely. My brain was not calibrated pre 10 a.m.
Yeah. Let alone to meet that kind of a stress.
To meet that, level of expectation and pressure, and it's a prep school. And so I feel like I made a really good decision for myself choosing the online school, because it was definitely challenging in that you don't have someone kind of telling you what to do and where to be. And
you have to be more self-disciplined.
Yeah, it was more like college in that sense, where you have to self-manage your time and your energy, and you know, at that age, I think sleep is really important. Like going back to prehistoric human, like early man tribes, where the elders would go to bed early and the youth would stay up late and watch the camp, and then the elders would wake up really early while the youth slept in, and it's just part of, I think, the natural cycle of
life.
People.
Yeah.
You know, at that age, you're kind of naturally staying up late and sleeping in, and you know, I think it would make a lot of sense if schools in general had, you know, some people that age I've known, they can wake up at 6 in the morning and they're spunky, ready to run a triathlon.
Right.
But
the
I think people are different,
yeah.
and they develop differently. Maybe there could be a first half of the day for those kids that wake up early and they get all their stuff done in that time, and then, you know, the second half of the day is for the kids that, you know, they're developing differently. They need some sleep in the morning, and that's just, it makes more sense for how they learn and how they process information. And so for myself, knowing that I'm the latter group,
right,
the homeschool thing was really the way to go for me. Actually, Alex did homeschool as well.
Did you?
Yeah, online homeschool.
Where are you from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. So you did online homeschool too, huh?
Through most of high school.
Yeah. It's like you say, and the inability to travel. And
yeah.
I mean, the kids, my daughter complains, she's a junior there, and she complains all the time about the stress,
sure.
and like I could be doing something more productive with my time. But I mean, one thing I always compliment your parents on is when I sit and talk to you and your brother, however you were raised, or whatever educational path, or whatever spirituality, or whatever environment that they raised you guys in, obviously worked really well. Because I think that, and I want to talk about your music, because I love your music. And like I told you earlier, sometimes we get off on other things. But one of the things that, and I tell people this all the time, because they're like, oh, you get to, interview people, you've been to Willie Nelson's house or whatever. And I said, one of the things that I admire most about the whole thing, your dad's career, the strength of your mom, the way, it's the way that you and your brother, because I don't know your mom and dad as well, look at the world, and the way that you have such just a glorious brain. You could just from watching your social media posts and talking to you, I mean, you're a deeply insightful human being, and there's not nearly enough of those kind of people on this planet. But whatever it was, whether it was, innately in you, or that you're just a part of this big universe, or what your parents chose, the way they chose to raise you, or whatever, I just really admire that aspect of you and your family. Do you see a lot of, I don't know what I want to ask. Alex.
Yes.
Do you agree? Is he kind of an enlightened kind of,
yeah, he looks beyond the surface of topics. So does Luke.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from them, but also from how they were raised. They were taught to look at more than just their life, but everyone's life and how everything affects everyone.
Right.
It's not just me.
And so that was something that was consciously taught to you, to look beyond yourselves?
Consciously and unconsciously.
Just kind of
as by example.
Who your parents are?
Yeah, they're just both those kinds of people, and I think more than any expectation of being perfect, or being taking a certain career path, or the most that they wanted for us was to just be people that they would want to hang out with.
That's really cool.
And traveling, I think, is a beautiful opportunity to experience firsthand different places and cultures and people, and it's kind of this protection against dogma in a way. Like when you've experienced firsthand a certain type of people or culture, no one can tell you this group of people, they're all this or that, and kind of generalize people into different, just really generalized categorizations. And
Right.
The prejudices of people are harder to infiltrate the mind if you've experienced, a connection intimately, not, like with people from all over the world, and been able to see for yourself, instead of just taking for granted what people are saying or what you read on the internet or what you just inherently are prejudging about someone or something or whatever it is, until you've personally experienced that person, place, or thing, you can only really go by what you've been taught.
Right.
And
so even if you don't want to think in those generalized categories, sometimes that's all you know.
Yeah, sometimes that's the only point of reference you have, is what's been inherently passed down to you through your DNA or through the influences you've been surrounded by, or the information provided to you by your parents or whoever you're hanging out with. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true or
Right.
accurate. So I think that having people around you, whether they're your parents or just, it takes a village, having the people around you that even if, nobody's right all the time, nobody's perfect, but reminding you that it's okay to think for yourself and filter everything through your own spirit, and look at things for what they are and not what you want them to be or what people are trying to convince you they are, and think critically about things. That's something that I think the Montessori school is really good at teaching too, is critical thinking and,
Right.
and independent thought, not this kind of group think mentality.
Right. I agree. People ask me, what did I do to raise my kid to be who she is today? And I do give a lot of credit to Montessori. Michael, this is Mike Courier.
Hi.
Have you met Micah Nelson?
I have not.
Okay,
I have.
this is Micah
Pleasure
Nelson,
meeting you,
and
sir.
this is Alex. I'm
Hi,
sorry.
Alex.
This is-
Happy. There it is. Yeah, it's my work shirt, right? Happy holidays to both of you.
But thank you for making it. We were talking about, I told Micah I had 4 pages of notes.
I heard.
Did you hear?
Yeah, I was listening to the show and frantically coming down a very wet highway.
Yeah,
from
From up country.
Yeah, exactly.
And once I got
appreciate-
down here, I was like, why did I come down here? Oh, yeah, the show.
Yeah, the show. Well, I
Oh, and then I
appreciate
have
you
to
all
work
braving the
afterwards.
weather. Yeah. I appreciate you all
No,
braving the
that's
weather.
fine.
We could use it in California.
I know, exactly.
Whereabouts are you?
We're in LA.
Oh, you're
Venice.
in Southern Cal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, with
So-
the wildfires.
So that's your home base when you're not touring?
These days, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you've been there kind of since you graduated high school, didn't you? Moved
Pretty
to
much.
California.
I went back to Austin for a little while.
Did you?
I was living with my girlfriend at the time. I was about
Okay.
17. And then I started going to film school, animation school, and art school out there. And I've been there about 10 years
Wow.
at this point.
Well, I want, like I said, I always get sidetracked talking about, is that you ringing?
Yeah, I unlocked a dungeon. Silence that.
We're going to do a Super Mario tournament. Did you hear that?
I heard.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
old school
good.
Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
I'm actually Atari 2600.
Oh, there you go.
Are you?
That goes way back.
That goes way
1977.
back.
Shows you how old I am. So.
Space Invaders.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like I say, I always get off on sidetracks talking about like, because you're just a really cool person. And,
You're a cool person.
Oh, you're so sweet. But I really don't, and I want to talk about your last couple of years. I mean, growing up was obviously amazing, and how can somebody talk to you without talking about how you grew up? But I kind of want to shelve that because, it's like you've been doing amazing things. You've been going to amazing places and playing with interesting people and all that. And that's important to me as a music journalist, but I don't want to leave behind your music and your art. And I really want to talk about that. And hopefully you'll play us some music, because it is just the songs you write. Okay. So for those who don't know, you have several musical projects. Yes, we have Insects versus Robots. You have your Particle Kid, that's more of your solo stuff.
Yeah.
And then you play in your brother's band too, in Promise of the Real sometimes.
Sometimes. Usually when we're with Neil.
Okay.
But occasionally, if it lines up.
And you just did an album with your dad. So, it's your musical projects are vast, but would you say, like, if somebody said what your core musical projects are? I mean, is it your
right now? It's Particle Kid.
Your Particle Kid stuff.
Yeah, that's what's feeding me the most right now.
It's so the music. Did you get a chance to listen to it? It's so creative. The Particle Kid music. It's so creative and it's so compelling, and I'm a music journalist who talks about the music business. So, like, I'll talk about, who is the promoter that operates Shoreline Amphitheater. I don't talk about, like, the structure of the sound, because I'm not good at it. But the music, your music is complex and sophisticated. Can you help me out a little? It's not your.
Sure, I'll take all of that.
Okay.
Play it so I can hear it. And then maybe I'll have an.
Because it's not. I mean, it's not. And tell within music, what is it? It's not like traditional pop songs. It's not country. It's not.
Well, I guess I've always really been excited by bands or artists that are hard to define in any one thing.
You obviously are.
And influenced by those kind of artists. And
who are your influences?
Oh man.
Oh no, that's a big.
Okay,
that's a whole nother interview.
It's a whole nother show.
In your single, everything is. I don't even know if I can say that word on the radio, but everything is bull. Yeah, Tony's like, don't say it. I almost get like, and I know musicians don't like, oh, you remind me of so and so, but in addition to the psychedelic vibe, there's kind of almost like a Talking Heads kind of intellectual kind of vibe with that song.
I'll take that.
I
love David Byrne and
okay. So
Tina
I'm
Weymouth.
Not out
I
there.
You're right on.
No,
Okay.
I'm very actually interested in hearing the associations people make.
Do you? Okay.
More often than not, I'm pleasantly surprised by it. It's like, it's usually pretty on point. It's like, yeah, I can totally see how that strong influence of mine seeped through into that song or whatever. And sometimes it's like, oh, I've never heard of that artist that you think I sound like. I'm going to check them out.
Yeah, and then it expands your exposure.
Now you got me interested.
What, you want to play a song for us?
Can I play that song on the radio?
I don't.
You might have to change that word.
I don't shoot it. Can you say bull crap? I don't know.
Okay, I've done this before.
You can.
I'll
I mean, you can play whatever song you would like.
I'll self-censor it with some.
Okay,
some
let's go ahead and take a break while you get set up, and then we'll be right back. Let me see. This is Suzanne Kayian, and you are listening to the Maui Zan Show at KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice
of Maui.
Boating is one of the special benefits of living in Hawaii. Boating on Maui waters is fun and relaxing, whether you're fishing, diving, whale watching, or sightseeing. Aloha. This is Mark Tracy with Valion Marine Center at 1976 Wells Street in Wailuku. For nearly 5 decades, our company has provided numerous choices for recreational pleasure boaters, as well as solutions for commercial operators. Speaking for myself and the crew at Valion Marine Center, we wish every boater safe and joyful cruising throughout the year. Mahalo.
Funding for KAKU, The Voice of Maui, is provided in part by Dekine Air Conditioning and Heating, located in Kihei. New units, sales, and service on most makes and models. Call 808-276-2319 or email dekinehvac@yahoo.com.
If you are a business interested in underwriting programming on 88.5, please call 871-5554 or email us at radio@akaku.org.
Thank you to Dekine Air Conditioning and Heating for their support of KAKU, The Voice of Maui.
Hi, I'm Shaggy Jenkins, Program Director for KAKU FM, The Voice of Maui. We are a listener-supported station, and as such, we depend on your donations and the support of local businesses to keep our broadcast going. If you would like to help KAKU 88.5, please go to our website at kakufm.org/give to make a donation today. Thanks for your support.
KAKU 88.5 FM, Kahului, Maui.
Aloha, this is Bill Pess, wishing you the happiest of holidays, and thank you for listening to my show Off the Record every Tuesday and Thursday live from 11 a.m. until noon.
This is Chuck Sauce
and Vince Fodi
from the
Biscuits and Gravy Show.
Wishing all you listeners out there a happy holidays. And tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m.
on KAKU 88.5, the voice of gravy.
Welcome back to the Maui Zan Show with your host, Suzanne Kayian. And Micah Nelson's in the studio.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I'm going to try to quit gabbing. Let me go ahead and turn this music down. And we're back with Micah Nelson, and we were talking about his... when I was writing my notes, I kept writing the word awesome. Awesome music or awesome piece of this. And I don't know, that's terrible. It needs a better word than that. So his enchanting and compelling music and Particle Kids. So... he's going to play. Now, are you going to play the song we were talking about earlier?
Well, we've built it up so much, I feel like.
You might as well. Oh, my God.
Do we have the beep meter? Do we need the beep meter?
He's going to self-censor, I think.
I'll be
so
that's good.
Okay, so this is Everything is Bolt. You want to give a little preview, like what inspired the song, or you want to just play it?
Maybe I'll just play it and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, wonderful.
Micah Nelson.
Everything is bullshit. It's bullshit. Everything is bullshit. It's bullshit. It came out of a bull. It landed on the ground. It grew a little mushroom. And then a hairy ape man, he put it in his mouth. He started having thoughts, all kinds of ideas. Grew himself a little ego, invented a new language. But then he built a tower, designed a system of power. You know, I read it in the paper. He made a tiny computer that fits inside your hand. Communicate across the planet. Look back into the cosmos. Post a picture for your Facebook. Make a profile on your Snapchat. Murder people from a distance and laugh at videos of cats. Everything, 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 everything is bullshit. It's bullshit. Oh, everything, 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 everything is bullshit. Everything is bullshit. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Oh.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's the campfire version.
It was really good. I liked the campfire version. The song is simple yet complex.
Simplex.
There you go.
There you go.
And I
Big
was
message
like,
on there.
I'm like, am I tripping when I watch? Because like when you listen to it, okay, you listen to a song, and sometimes you don't, like catch all the lyrics, and then you sit and watch the video. And you animate it? You did the whole video?
Yeah, I did on my laptop.
I just, so that's when I talk about, you're more than a musician, because your art is everywhere in your work, and just to watch the video as it unfolds. I mean, it's just like, yeah, people have told stories, kind of, and then all of a sudden it's like you're on a roller coaster ride, with the lyrics and where you go and where you come back, and
yeah, it's like life.
Where and partway through, all of a sudden you get really scared. I don't know. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like your voice too. It's very strong, and I don't know. I was trying to pick up some influences in there. Not that you sound like anybody, but
I'm sure I sound like an amalgamation of all my influences.
I was going to say a little bit of Adrian Belew, David Byrne. I don't know. There's kind of, and whoever else that you might throw in there.
Well, all of our favorite artists are amalgamations of all of their influences, and
true.
They stole from their favorite artists,
right?
And then eventually, once they, it becomes second nature, then they kind of sound like them.
Right.
That's every super original artist ever, is just stealing from the best and then giving it a little twist and making it their own.
Right.
Try to capture that magic and funnel it through themselves.
Do people try to look at you through the eyes of your dad or your brother's career?
Yep.
That's because you're just very different, but yet when you and Lucas jam, I saw some encore performances or improvisational stuff where you guys are up there, your music is so totally different, but yet when you come together, there's a certain mesh that goes on there.
Yeah, we love playing together. We grew up playing together. We taught each other just by jamming, and it's we make different music or different style of music or whatever. But music is a universal language, and especially being brothers, we have a connection there. We're like two sides of a coin, and it might seem like vastly different universes of music, but there are definitely a lot of connections there. A lot of our influences are linked. Wow, is there robot?
I don't know.
You know, I was wondering if that was something that was sneaking in.
Sneaking in.
At first, I heard the dog barking, and I went, "Oh, it's a kennel. We're creating a kennel here."
I'm glitching a little bit. It's from the rain. Sometimes
something is going
my
on.
circuits.
I know. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've been interviewing you guys since you were young, and I always try, like I said in the beginning, you're Micah Nelson. You're not Willie's. I mean, you are Willie's son, but you're Micah Nelson, and I like to highlight that aspect when you and I did a email interview once about your art, and it was amazing. But Willie is your dad, and you guys do play together, and I'm always talking about family relationships on this show. So the one thing I want to talk about, and I don't want to stress too much, on your dad and your family, but the videos you guys did for the new album, where you're just sitting there and you guys are talking about growing up, and you're talking, and then in performances like when you are on stage with him, like at the Gershwin Awards and stuff. I mean, there's got to be a special kind of touching to be able to, working with your dad.
Yeah, totally. It's great.
Well, you don't certainly sound like him. You have your own unique voice, although your brother. Boy, you close your eyes, and that's
he picked up that one.
Totally.
Well, now I know when Luke was young, that when he would do shows and stuff, he made a conscious effort not to say, in the media that it was just like Lucas Nelson. It was before Promise of the Real.
Right.
Do you have to consciously work to be Micah?
Yeah, I mean, well, no. Let me take that back. I don't have to consciously work to be Micah.
Right.
I mean, I'm me.
But you have to consciously work to have people see?
I just have to make sure that I'm not falsely advertising myself, because when promoters, they put my dad's name on there bigger than my name and stuff like that, they're making people expect something that, people see Willie Nelson, they expect Willie Nelson.
Right.
And, he did Willie Nelson perfectly. Like, Willie Nelson did, like he already did that.
Right, you're not going to do that. Right.
I couldn't. Nobody can.
Right.
Why would you?
Why would I try to do something that I'm not?
Right.
I can't.
And
it's
especially
a waste of time.
Because of what you are is so good.
I think I have something different that's special to give and offer the people and the music, a gift to music. And I think, it's like I don't really complain about that. It's inevitable that people are going to associate that, and more often than not, even if they are expecting one thing, they'll come up to me after a show and say how pleasantly surprised they were.
Exactly.
It's like, that was totally unexpected,
right?
But thanks,
right?
And that's great.
Yeah,
so,
like the
Reflecticals.
The Reflecticals, when you guys played at Charlie's, I went not knowing what to expect, and just like totally blown away.
That was a fun band.
It was.
Those guys are great.
So you've got other music projects and stuff going. Is there anything?
Reflecticals, they ended up years ago.
Right.
But it was a really fun little chapter. It was good times.
But I mean, the same can be said for Particle Kid. You don't know what to expect.
I don't know what to expect even.
I was going to ask you that on the video for The Ocean, is that the name?
Yeah.
Of the song where you're painting, and that's just something I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Micah will paint live to music. I've seen you do it with your brother's band, but for your own music, you did it where you painted live.
Well, it was a time lapse video,
right?
Of you putting something together.
Yeah, it was like I wanted to make a video for this song from a record I put out earlier this year, a Particle Kid record, and I thought, I'll do a time lapse video of a painting that relates to the song, and then that painting became the album cover.
Nice.
So it was like getting stoned and killing two birds.
It was. I mean, it was just like so compelling.
That's even a song right there.
Because when you see you when as an audience member, when you're watching like your brother's band, like this is Charlie's. I've seen you guys where he's playing and you're doing the art. It's very compelling to watch what you're doing and to see the art explode in front. Because most fine pieces of art like that, we don't get to see the creation, and to be able to see the creation is just kind of, it's very magical. And the fact that you capture that for that video, I from a business point of view, I think it's brilliant. From an artistic point of view, it's brilliant. And from an emotional point of view, just the way it takes you through, the song. It's just, it's a triple.
I'm just checking out some of your profile pics, and one that came up
so
here. So
artistic.
This one right here, that,
What do you got there?
the arrow. The
oh,
green.
that's actually an artist, Jules Muck.
Oh, okay.
She's a Venice
and
street artist.
And she did, this is you.
She did a mural of me and a few other people.
Nice.
I mean, she does murals of everybody, like from Kurt Cobain to
that's an album
Janis
cover
Joplin,
right there.
all over town. And it was quite an honor. She painted my face with an arrow through my mouth, like a Aboriginal or something. It was on Sunset Boulevard.
Nice. Very
cool. Very cool. So, anyway, I was like, the art is just amazing. What my question is when you're starting a painting like that, do you know what it's going to look like when you're done, or do you just go?
Sometimes I have no idea, and a lot of times those end up being my favorite ones.
And something interesting will come out.
Yeah, it's like Bob Ross. He's always like, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. I love Bob Ross, but
yeah, that's great.
But sometimes I will have at least a concept in mind, and I don't try to strictly stick to it, because the chaos that unfolds once you start going, once you get in that trance zone, that's when the real stuff comes, and you just have to get out of your own way and let it happen,
right?
And take you for a ride with it. If I'm lucky, it's like I'm on just as much of a ride as the audience watching it happen, and I'm just going, and like new ideas are popping up all the time, and taking little side roads, and I never know exactly where it'll end up, but that's part of the fun of it. It's total mystery sometimes. But sometimes it helps to have at least like a starting point idea where, okay, I roughly know I wanted to at least have a profile of a figure or something in some way, or I wanted to have
or like that painting, you wanted to have some kind of ocean element.
Yeah, that one I kind of had like, let's see, I don't remember. I knew the final one ended up being pretty different than my idea. It was sort of rooted in it conceptually, where I wanted to have this tiny boat and this giant wave and like a face, either a face in the wave or a face in the sky, where like so it was going to be like the clouds kind of contour this face in the sky, and the full moon was going to be the eye, and I was like, okay, that would be really cool. And so I started going, and this figure ended up being like this like octopus lady, and then the clouds were making up her the shape of her, but I think it's her eye ended up being the earth. If you zoom in, so it's like, oh, we're actually on some alien planet somewhere on an ocean,
way back,
and and we're looking out in the night sky, and so it was like that whole album was sort of a love letter to the cosmos, where it ended up being, and it's the same with music, where I might have a rough concept before, or sometimes I'll just start writing songs that come, and then I'll notice, oh, there's a little through line here, there's kind of a concept or a theme happening, and maybe I can embellish on that. And for that one, it ended up sort of being this theme of like a lot of the songs, it was hard to tell whether the narrator is singing to a person, like a romantic interest, or is singing to existence itself, the cosmos, and just the the universe.
Right.
And it's like an existential folk album or something.
Sorry for the interruption.
The
The
dogs,
kennel.
Oh, that's cool. I like that about Kaku. It's very Wayne's World.
Yes, it is very Wayne's World.
It is. There was another picture or another painting, and I think this is was this one of yours?
Oh yeah.
Okay, this kind of has a residence feel. You know who I'm talking
The
about?
Residence.
Yes.
I never thought about that, but I totally agree.
Well, we don't have the eyeball.
Yeah,
heads,
it's not an eyeball. Actually, what that is,
Right.
that pattern is, back then I was doing a lot of experiments with water cymatics, which is cymatics are the visual nodal patterns of sound in physical matter.
Ah, okay.
Like, just the background was, in 1776, there was a physicist named Ernst Chladni who discovered this, where he had salt on a copper plate, and he played the edge of it with a violin bow so it resonated.
Right.
And the salt vibrated and like morphed into a geometric mandala. Nice. And since then, people have been experimenting with this guy Lauterwasser and this guy Hans Jenny in the 60s, 70s. He started experimenting with water cymatics and what happens when you introduce tones and vibrations to different substances like turpentine and different things, and what would happen to it. And it, depending on the pitch and frequency of the sound, it would generate these beautiful geometric patterns that look like patterns you see in nature, like coral and turtle shells, and like
it's like we're all
molecules.
We're all connected somehow.
Yeah, it was like this very practical demonstration of the vibrational framework of the universe or something.
Sure.
I mean, it looks like patterns on those ayahuasca blankets from
Mm-hmm.
Peru, you know, and they're all very beautiful and like they look like mandalas or Aboriginal art. And the higher the frequency, the more complex the pattern becomes. It kind of fractalizes, you know? And then the really low bass tones, they'll make more rudimentary, simpler shapes. And I was really fascinated with this, so I started doing it. I had a little speaker with a vessel of water in it, and I would play shows where I would project what I was playing, you know, the patterns my music would create in the water would be projected live.
Oh, during your show?
While it's happening.
Oh, so that's cool.
So you're watching it live happening. I'd make loops with my voice and build up into these harmonic choruses, you know. And
oh, that's fantastic.
And it was really incredibly psychedelic. And I was doing that for a while, and sometimes I would take photos of the patterns that I liked and then paint them later.
Right.
So that
incorporate
this
them into
character's head is one of the patterns that
It
happens.
almost has an H.R. Geiger.
Yes, thank you.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer album cover feel.
I love.
Bet you didn't think I would pull that one out of my head.
No,
rest in peace. Yes,
He knows
I
what
loved
I'm
Aliens.
talking about.
Yeah, I've always loved his art.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, you know, Micah's art, fine art, is right, you know, is neck and neck. And in fact, when you were younger, I think that we admired your fine art and then your music, and you've always done music.
Yeah.
But I think that this new round of music has kind of, I don't know, it seems to have taken like a step up towards the level of your artistic creativity too. Do you feel like you're growing as an artist?
Yes, and that's kind of something that I, at least unconsciously, sort of set a goal for myself. Was, you know, I've always seen music very visually,
right,
and vice versa. There's like, you know, I'm probably a synesthetic or whatever, and those things always had this symbiotic connection to me, the aural and the visual, and they feed off each other. And so I spent, you know, maybe the first half of my life so far really diving into the visual and how to kind of manifest my visions with the visual arts, whether it's animation or painting or drawing. And music has always been there underneath it all. And a lot of time it's been the main inspiration for my drawings and visual things. And I've always had musical ideas, and for the past decade, I think, maybe a little more, I've been, you know, really trying to cultivate the sonic element of that. You know, it's all kind of coming from the same place, the same muse. It just It's, comes out through different
ways,
vessels, you know, vehicles, and so I knew, you know, I mean, practice really. I've just been playing a lot, and it's the same with the arts. You know, I went to art school and I studied that, and you know, with touring with Neil in particular, I mean, that was like Jedi training
academy
for being a musician. And
I bet.
So that gave me a lot of confidence, the fact that Neil recognized me as an artist and a musician and and a songwriter. You know, like for a long time I never thought of myself as a songwriter. I would write songs, but they were kind of like, I didn't really take them seriously or think anybody else would. I mean, that song I just played, it was a joke when I wrote it too. It was like, the way that started was, I was reading the news out loud, and and Alex said, you know, everything is bull bleep, and I was like, I just laughed, and I just started singing it, just, you know, because I sometimes just start singing things for no reason, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of catchy, you know, and I picked up a guitar. And I was hanging out with Neil, actually, and we were just sharing song ideas. And I was like, oh, check this out. I just made this one. And we were both laughing and stuff. And I just kept going. And the stream of consciousness, making it up, this whole story unfolded.
Just kind of spilled out of you.
Yeah, this like Terence McKenna stoned ape theory saga just came through. And I was like, oh, wow, cool. That's a song now. And it took on, it started as a joke, and then it took on this whole new meaning, and that record, titled Everything is Bull, was basically a collection of songs that I'd written like that were never really, at least in the beginning, serious. And then, you know, I listened to them a few more times, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of,
wait a minute,
you could take this a different way. Like you could hear this in a very deep way, that if you wanted to, or if you were stoned enough.
Exactly.
Neil Young poked fun about that. He did a song called, is it This Note's for You?
Yeah.
You remember that video?
Yeah.
That was a big
Won't
poke
sing
fun.
for
Coke
Pepsi,
or
ain't
Pepsi.
singing for Coke.
So I have a question for everybody. We have 7 minutes left.
Okay.
If I can get more studio time, can you stay a little bit longer, or do you have to run?
I kind of have to run.
Okay, well then we'll wrap it.
I mean, how much longer are you thinking?
I could sit here for 4 hours.
The extended remix.
I could do like, you know, I could do like 15 more minutes, something like that.
Well, let's go ahead and fill the hour that we're supposed to
That's right.
fill,
Yeah.
and then, you know, we'll
work it from
we'll
there.
go from there, and you'll have to just like promise to come back. You want to do more music, or do you want
That would
to
be
talk
awesome.
about, you know, is there something you have on your chest? I mean, we've got, you know, hemp and just all the wonderful things you're involved in, but you know, your music.
Yeah, I have a couple albums coming out.
Tell us.
Wait, I have 2 albums coming
The
out?
Hotel Carpet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
See, your agent just spoke. Oh, I'm sorry.
She's my life roadie.
There you go.
So over the years of being on the road and being in different hotels and stuff, I started to notice, I would look down.
The Hotel Carpet
and I
book.
would be often mesmerized at what I was looking at.
Oh,
I'm like,
my. That might be scary.
No, it's awesome.
No,
Okay.
but
and I
the
started taking
unbelievable
pictures.
patterns.
I started taking pictures of hotel carpets
Okay.
all over the world, and I've got about 260 plus and counting at this point. But I started posting them on Instagram with the hashtag Hotel Carpet Coffee Table Book.
Right.
But I'm like, you know, maybe it's kind of like a, you know, something that
Sure.
stoners would look at. And
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
Why not?
I was like, oh, okay, maybe eventually I'll make a book. And people eventually started asking, like, when's the book coming out? I want this book.
Right.
And I was like, oh, man, okay, I guess I better. And I looked into making a coffee table book, and the more I looked into it, I realized, man, this is so expensive to publish a book. Who's going to actually publish this thing for me? And, like, where am I going to get the money for this? And then I remembered one of my best friends, David Wexler, who I work with a lot designing live visuals for bands. He is on the board of this VR company called Wave VR. Mm-hmm. And basically he's in charge of designing the new content that's coming out through this
virtual reality.
This software, which is it's virtual reality.
Sure.
And it's like, imagine, you sign into this Wave VR and you're in a music festival, but it's unlike any music festival that could exist in physical reality.
Sure.
Because it's in VR.
Right.
Maybe everything looks like an H.R. Giger painting.
Right.
And every artist at the festival has their own little stage, and you could visit each one, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be a stage with band playing.
Right.
It could be a giant flaming head with lasers shooting out of its face, and you could poke its cheek, and it would make the song play. Or, I mean, literally anything you could think of. And I was like, well, why don't I just make a virtual reality hotel with David?
Whoa.
There you go.
And you're walking around, and the oh yeah, but wait, before that happened, I skipped a whole chapter here.
But wait,
one night when I was looking at these carpet patterns and I was messing around on my Tascam cassette 4-track, which is what I made the last record on, I was messing around with my synth and I started hearing music, looking at these patterns, and I started thinking, like, oh, what if I read these patterns as if they were music?
Notes.
Like a music notation.
Written music,
This sort of abstract version of it, like maybe in another dimension, this is what music notation looks like. And I'll just interpret it like that. So I made a whole album. And then, at that point it was just, my polysynth and my Nord to cassette tape. And I brought that into the studio and I layered drums and bass and different things on it and had this fully fleshed out instrumental record that was inspired by these different patterns of carpets.
The photographs of the carpet.
She wants to interject something.
You did it at home.
The cassette part I did at home.
Yeah. It took like an hour and you had a whole album done.
Oh my goodness!
Well, don't tell
really?
people that.
No,
it took years.
It
I
took
toiled
years of hard
aimlessly.
work.
That means you're genius. See, that's the genius coming out in you.
Anyway.
See, she's talking you up.
All right.
That's
okay,
good.
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
that's amazing.
Well,
so you're releasing it as...
I'm designing a virtual reality hotel now. For anyone who's listening who follows the Hotel Carpet Coffee Table book, it'll actually be an actual virtual reality hotel that you can sign in anytime. And now they have VR headsets for your phone that attach to your phone. It's very consumer level even now. And you can probably just download this Wave VR app. I don't know exactly how they're going to roll it out. But you sign in, and it's like you can walk into this hotel that we create, and the music will be playing, and the carpet patterns on the floor will be interacting with the music like they're synced to the music, and they'll be morphing into patterns, and there'll be an elevator you can take up. There's 8 songs in the record, so each floor will have a different song playing with different patterns, and so it'll be more of an experiential sort of thing.
Right.
But it's and you'll be able to get the album with just the music itself, because I think the music alone is really beautiful.
Oh yeah,
and then if you want to do
cool
the virtual
visual thing,
and then so are you going to do a book too, or no?
See what happens with this. If I get people saying, hey, we want to fund your book, then that would be great.
Right.
Hint, hint.
Anybody who's listening.
And the other album is one of my good friends, Sonny War, is a fantastic musician, songwriter, singer in Venice, where we live. And I had met her years ago briefly, and her playing and picking and singing and songs and everything just totally blew my mind. She has this really idiosyncratic way of playing the guitar that her fingers look like Gumby. I don't know what she's. It's like this. I mean,
cool.
Not to associate her with other artists or anything, but I always thought that if the way I like to describe her is if Tracy Chapman and Elliott Smith and Nina Simone and Mississippi John Hurt got together on the moon
and
a porch, and they had a porch picking party, writing songs together, and then a human came out. It would be Sunny War.
Wow.
So check her out. She's got a
That's cool.
crowdfunded thing right now for her new record that I played on. A lot of the Insects vs. Robots guys played on. And we just made a record together. We produced each other. We each brought songs to it and played on each other's stuff. It's called Particle War.
Okay, cool. Are we going over?
We're going to have to sign off.
Okay.
We're going to do Micah Nelson part 2.
We're going to have to say bye, but then I'm going to stand here and talk to you a couple more minutes when we're on Facebook Live.
Aloha.
This is Suzanne Kayian, and you are listening to KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
Aloha,
it's
everyone.
Letters to Washington on KAKU 88.5 FM, Kahului, Maui, the voice of Maui. It's Letters to Washington on KAKU 88.5 FM, Kahului, Maui, the voice of Maui.
This is Pacifica Radio's Letters on Politics. On today's show, we look at the history of efforts to try to cut taxes for the richest people and corporations in this country. We'll speak to Isaac Martin. He's a sociology professor at the University of California, San Diego, and he is the author of the book Rich People's Movements, Grassroots Campaigns to Untax the 1%. And then in the second half of today's program, we'll be joined by Guardian columnist George Monbiot. He's the author of the book Out of the Wreckage, A New Politics for an Age of Crisis. That's next on Letters on Politics. But first, the news.
I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio. The House of Representatives has passed the Republican-backed tax overhaul. It now heads to President Donald Trump for his...
Mike.
Pleasure meeting you.
What, remind me your name one more time?
Michael Courier.
Michael.
I friend requested you.
Okay, on what?
Facebook.
Okay.
On your Facebook page. So
you might want to go to my Particle Kid page, because the other, like, for some reason I can't
not the insects
get any more friends on the regular
you're
one.
maxed out?
Yes, like,
so Particle
I try to
Kid,
get more friends,
Micah
and it's
Nelson,
like, you
Particle
can't.
Kid one.
Particle Kid, yeah.
It's called Particle.
Just Particle Kid. Yeah.
I will do that.
But I'll look for your thing. I'll try to
Very
make
nice to meet
it.
you.
Very nice meeting you. I so would love to talk to you guys.
Well, now you have to go?
I gotta run.
Okay, so we've got microphone and everything. So.
Yep.
Oh, it's all mic'd?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I gotta run. I got a long distance phone calls.
Okay.
Sure, maybe we'll put that. Bye, Michael. Mele Kaliki
Have a good
Maka.
one. Stay dry. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye, Suzanne.
Bye, sweetie. Thank you.
You're supposed to come over tonight, so maybe I'll see you
Okay,
later.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, we don't need my microphone.
Good?
We're all good.
tears in my soup. Tears keep falling in an infinite loop. Son of a gun, I got the gun show loophole blues. Tears on my napkin, tears on my chest. I guess I better cry me a bulletproof vest. Son of a gun, I got the gun show loophole blues. I got the gun show loophole blues. I wish I had some better news, but it's all tears in the classroom, tears on the street, tears in the dance hall, tapping my feet. Son of a gun, I got the gun show loophole blues. Yeah! Background, tears up front. Any more crimes, gonna be a flood. Son of a gun, I got the gun show loophole blues. Tears on the front porch, tears in the yard. Shoot your own foot, it ain't that hard. Oh my God, I got the gun show loophole blues. I got the gun show loophole blues. I got my hands up, please don't shoot. Lord, I got tears in the cafe, tears on the beach. He's got a straight jacket, let's sell him a piece. Son of a bitch, he's got the gun show loophole blues. Son of a pew, he's got the gun show loophole blues. Some of my friends, they got the gun show loophole blues. How about you?
That was really cool. I mean, it's like sounds all happy, and then you're like, ooh, really cool. So we're on extended Facebook Live, and since you said you could give me 15 minutes, I'm gonna snag that. We only did 5 minutes over.
Okay.
Can you do me like a personal favorite song?
What's your favorite song?
No, it's not my favorite song, but when I was in college radio, I used to play this song every single radio show, and I heard you play it Friday night, Psycho Killer by Talking Heads.
Okay.
And I just loved it. You know, people, I have a reputation for, like, I always ask singer-songwriters to do covers just because I'm a big cover nut, you know.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to make it like the focus of the show, but I just thought of it, and it was Friday night when I heard you sing it, I go, I'm going to ask.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Just for me. Oh, Micah Nelson. Thank you so much.
Can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous. Can't relax. Can't sleep. My bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, kiss kiss it. Far, 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 far better. Run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, you start a conversation, you can't even finish it. You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, why say it again? Psycho killer, kiss kiss it. Fa 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 better. Run 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 away. Oh oh, psycho killer, kiss kiss it. Fa 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 better. Run 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 away. Oh oh oh, kiss it like it. C'est soin-là. Kiss it like it. C'est soin-là. Réalisons mon histoire. J'en me lance et le voilà au better run, 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 run away. Oh,
oh, that was totally brilliant. Look at me. I haven't smiled this big in a long time. Thank you so much. That was a ton of fun. People are hooting and hollering from the lobby.
Thank you, people.
Thank you. Will you come back in August maybe when you're here for Mom's birthday?
I'll come back.
Yeah. But that was fun, huh?
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying longer. For those of you who are still with us on Facebook Live, this is Suzanne Kayian for the Maui Zan Show. We're here. I'd like to thank Micah Nelson, and it's been a good show. Thank you for coming.
Thanks
Alex,
for having us.
Thank you for coming. It was great. And we're going to wrap this up, and we'll do just a quick photo, and then I can send you on your way. Thank you so much.
Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays.